There's, of course, a lot of injuries early on in the season, and then a lot of just heartbreaking games. They led 4 games last year, 3 in the first month alone, where they led or had the ball in a tie game with 2 minutes left to go in the games. 2-minute warning, they have the lead, they're tied. They lose 4 of those games. Just heartbreaking for that to happen.
Yeah, I think Phillip Rivers, the fact that he knows that the clock is ticking, he's going to be a guy who's going to be better. And defensively, look, they've got some people that can absolutely close out games. Who's number 3?
The Browns, only reason why teams that are 1-15, they get better. It's really hard to go 1-15 2 years in a row. It's just difficult to pull that off. And the teams in the past who have been 1-15, 8 teams since 1990, they've improved by an average of 6.6 wins the following season. So really gotten a lot better. I don't think the Browns are going to be that good just because the division is so tough. They brought in Myles Garrett, most draft capital in all football, spent a ton in free agency, a much deeper team, a lot more star-level talent than there was a year ago.
They're not getting the same kind of criticism for their all-season in 2017 like they did in 2016, rightfully so. So give them credit. Who else you got? Who you have finishing out the list here?
Another team that's really spent a lot this offseason, changed what they did, the San Francisco 49ers. Got rid of Chip Kelly, brought in John Lynch, brought in Kyle Shanahan, really a highly regarded head coaching candidate. 1-5 in one-score games last year, but again, they should be better with game management. And then, just a team that they spend a lot. Pierre Garcon's there, Brian Hoyer's there. So a lot of more talent there than maybe was there last season.
Yep, and who's on the end of your list there?
Okay, if you're a Statner, the team that you're talking up right now, the Philadelphia Eagles, 7-9 last season, but very poor record in one-score games. The toughest schedule in football by just about any metric I can find. So faced a really tough slate of games. And on top of that, you have Carson Wentz coming back for his 2nd season. You have better receivers there. Alshon Jeffrey's there. Torrey Smith is there. And the key guy might be Lane Johnson, suspended for 10 games last season. But an enormous swing when he was in the lineup versus when he was out. A 24-point swing in QBR with Lane Johnson at right tackle. Yep. So protection, better receivers, better quarterback, better team altogether, and possibly a playoff contender there in the NFC.
Well, I can tell you for sure, like, there's a lot of optimism in that building, starting with the quarterback there, Doug Peterson. Look, they've got the thing moving in the right direction, so I agree with you there. I don't know about the San Francisco 49ers. I'm a little bit concerned myself as far as the leap that Kyle Shanahan has to make from play caller now to actually decision maker, real-time decision maker on a big picture perspective. You heard Matt Ryan, he had some criticism about Kyle's play calling style in the Super Bowl, whether or not it was the best thing for them in that kind of situation. How do you feel about that? I know everybody is hot on Kyle because, look, he can scheme up a defense as good as anybody. But as far as his decision-making as the head guy, does that concern you at all?
It might, but the realistic thing is they're 2-14.
Yeah.
They got a long way to go before it's a really big concern where they're in a playoff game, they're in the Super Bowl, where they're worried about the decision-making that late in games. Will there be some hiccups? Of course, but I think for every head coach there's going to be some hiccups. And the one good thing you might hope for with Shanahan is that historically it's taken kind of a year for his offense to click. 2015 in Atlanta, that offense wasn't always the best. This year, it's going to be a little different, I think, just because they have experience with guys who have been with Shanahan before. Brian Hoyer played for Kyle Shanahan in Cleveland. Pierre Garcon was the number 1 receiver in Washington for a period of time under Kyle Shanahan. So you have guys familiar with the scheme. It might make the build-up time to that offense being good a little quicker than maybe it's been in stops past.
Well, I don't think there's any question the fact that although there may have been some people who were skeptical of how this organization was put together from GM on down in its initial phases, there's no question. Look, they aced their offseason. John Lynch has done a remarkable job. They have filled needs. They have gotten players that fit the kind of schemes that they want to run. Now we'll see. They'll have to put it all on the field. I think they're going to improve as well, too. I'm just anxious to see just how Kyle Shanahan does when it's crunch time. All right, that's all we've got time for right now. We'll be back again tomorrow when Bill's going to give us his 5 teams that he thinks they may take a slide here in 2000.